What is going on, troopers? Welcome to the Trooper Transmission. And today we got my man John and his furry friend somewhere on the couch here to talk all things troopers, nerding out. And man, it's good to see you. And
Good to
you're
see you
great,
too.
man.
Thank you. It's been a minute, couple
Yeah.
months I think at this point.
Yeah. I mean, you've been plugging away, training like Boba Fett and doing yoga and getting your steps in. So I'm excited to talk about what's been working for you. But I always like to start winding the clock back 6 months, a year. What was going on in your world and your health and fitness that got you to a point to where you're like, I want to make a change. I want to start improving my health, working on my fitness. What was going on that led up to that point?
Well, I work in software. I work in IT. I'm a developer. I'm a technical help. So it's very um the campus I work at is big, so there's walking opportunities, but I was in my chair mostly. Um and I think it was September or so, I hit an all-time high of 280. And I saw that on my scale and went, oh no. Doctor, you got to cut some pounds. We're starting to worry about pre-diabetes, this and that, high blood pressure. And I did not like how I looked in the mirror. Didn't like where was just, I was sore, I was tired, uh, started using a CPAP, just all these things were coming to a head. And I kept seeing your ads on Instagram and said, you know what? This this could be fun. Paul looks like he actually cares about his people succeeding. Let's give it a try. And I reached out, set up a meeting, and then I backed out. And I got to give you great credit. You texted me, said, "Hey, I see you backed out to do even a 15-minute chat." Um, we did that, and when we got talking, I realized I needed to make a change. Um, I I'm 35. I'm dating. I don't have kids, but I want to have kids. And my fondest memories of my dad growing up, he's still alive, but my fondest memories growing up were him getting down, playing with me, just flying a kite in the backyard right after work, playing soccer with me in the backyard. I want to be able to still do that when I have kids. I played football for 9 years. My knees are miraculously intact, but they were getting sore from all the body weight I was carrying around. It was starting to scare me.
Yeah.
And I knew a change was needed, and this really seemed like a great way to help me start to make a change and then give me the encouragement to keep making the change. And it's been a great ride so far. I'm definitely a lot happier with where I am now and how I'm looking now too. Just things are things are a lot better than they were September, even November 30th when I officially started.
Yeah. And I'd be curious for you, what was the story you were telling yourself leading up to that point? Because a lot of times this story of, oh, I don't have time, or oh, it's not that bad. And I find that's one of the first things where if you drop the story, you start dropping the weight. What was the story that was prevailing for you?
Well, I have an hour commute to the office. I have a mandatory hour lunch, so I'm gone 11 hours a day. My folks watch my dog during the day, so okay, I got to go to their house, then I got to go home, but I don't have time. I'm fine. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Oh, it's that bad. Um, and I work out at their house mostly when I go to pick up the dog. I mean, I have to find ways to make the time. We have my office has allegedly the largest enclosed pedestrian bridge in North America. So it's about a little over a half mile there and back across this bridge. So I try to do that once, twice a day at least. And then get the workout, get the yoga, whatever, a cadet training, some weightlifting, whatever in when I get back at the end of the day, even if I don't want to do it, even if, oh, this is gonna suck. Oh gosh, I'm tired. Well, I'm tired, but how much more tired was I when I was carrying all that extra weight? If I get myself habit, if it, I don't need to work out at all now. It's all fine. It's all fine. Just sabotaging myself.
Yeah.
And plus the dog at least gets me out walking too. So that add a bonus there.
Yeah, totally. And to your credit, those are time constraints. You can't talk yourself out of, oh, it's just an hour commute. It's an hour commute. But I think you made a really good
Yeah,
point, good insight for anyone listening is just you got to make time and you got to prioritize and finding,
yeah,
even if it is 10-minute body weight workouts, it adds up.
it
And so I'd
does.
be curious for you what some of the little shifts that you've made, and obviously you started working out more, but then on the
Yeah.
nutrition side or the lifestyle side, what have been some of the big things that you either knew and just needed to be reminded of, or what are some of the things that you needed to unlearn, as Yoda says?
Um, Self-discipline. Gosh, the amount of times I was getting McDonald's or Taco Bell at night. Um, Looking at the caloric count. Oh, a quarter pounder with cheese is 1,000 calories. Oh boy, that's a lot. Um, just learning to watch my calories, learning to count my calories. I came back a pound lighter from a long weekend vacation in Florida with my dad, in part because we were, trying to eat reasonably healthy. Most ate fish, ate well, but like, okay, let's pick and choose, not just pig out. Definitely the self-discipline and the learn to count my calories and figure that out. Um, I mean, I still go to the pub on occasion, have a drink or two. I'm just making sure, okay, what's the maximum I want to have total? Know those are empty calories there. Okay. So what am I going to do to kind of burn this off? What am I going to do to earn this and very much limit how often I do that? Um, Hit the protein a lot more. Um, just chicken, eggs, uh, all very helpful. I started because my folks are as close as they are, which is a blessing. I'm able to, God bless my mother, she makes me a nice homemade lunch every day to take into work. So I'm not wasting money on
That's awesome.
the garbage they make in the office. And it's nicer that way. So
Yeah.
yeah, just a lot of the calorie and um being aware and also just fighting the urge to snack is one of the honestly been the biggest thing for me. Just, oh, I could go and get this garbage food, or I could not. Let's do not.
Yeah. That was going to be my follow-up question. You mentioned Office has a lot of junk, and I imagine a lot of people in their corporate or even just workspaces, wherever they're at, there's donuts and people are
Oh
bringing
yeah.
in Chick-fil-A. What do
Yeah.
you do, either mindset-wise or mechanism-wise, to stay on target and just stay intentional?
Uh, well, what they offer there is overpriced, which it's like, okay, is this worth the money? No. Is this lunch that I brought from home worth it for a lot cheaper? Yes. Okay. I sometimes get like a protein bar there if I'm hungry enough. I try to buy in bulk ahead of time though, which helps. But just okay, if I know I'm going to want a snack, let me bring some protein bars in that are either like I'll sometimes do a MedRx bar as a meal replacement. Like, okay, this will be instead of breakfast. I'll have this bar, chock full of protein. Just got to make sure I'm counting it with my calories and not going over, just taking it into account. A lot of it's just, do I really need this?
Mm,
Remember where I was. And something I've been telling myself lately, and I know this can be a little dangerous. Nothing tastes as good as seeing these pounds come off healthy weight. I know that's kind of a spin off the old unhealthy. Nothing tastes as good as pretty looks. Yeah, that can be dangerous, but I know I was an unhealthy weight before, so I
yeah.
can afford to not eat as much and be a little hungry at the end of the night, knowing I'm still within a healthy body weight for what I'm doing. And as long
Yeah.
starving myself, as long as I can still function and perform my job well and do everything I need to do and not, crash my blood sugar or anything,
Yeah.
I can afford to cut back on occasion.
Yeah, totally. And I'm glad you brought that up because there definitely is a psychological component to this as well. And figuring out what can I use from a mantra standpoint or a mental framework standpoint or a little saying that I say to myself. It sounds like you've got a really good method for at least slowing down and saying, do I really want this? And being intentional about this. Because whether it's saying nothing tastes as good as seeing these pounds come off, or do I really want this? It's just setting an intention. Is
Yeah,
this actually a subconscious or is this a conscious decision? And
yeah,
choosing consciously to choose the right thing, I would argue that that is one of the healthier things you can do. And for anyone who's, sitting there like, oh, that's a bad way to go about it, at the end of the day, getting out of being the heaviest you've ever been, there's nothing healthy about that. So at least you're moving in the right direction. And what I find so often is that there are maybe some like dark side, kind of like fear-based motivators initially. But once
yeah,
you get escape velocity, and I'm excited to talk about kind of like your vision later on,
yeah.
that's where you can then attach it to something where it's like, okay, cool, I'm chasing this thing. But honestly, if you're in a rut and anyone listen to this, use whatever motivation you got to do to get out of the hole because that's the hardest part to create that momentum because there's so much inertia.
Yeah. It's my goal has been 240 by Easter, and I cracked the 240s over the weekend.
Yeah.
Put a pound on over the weekend, but that can come right back off just with being intentional and working out.
Yeah.
So it's I've given myself a little, okay, 245 by Easter. That's maybe a little more attainable in a week and a half, but if I'm still going to shoot for 240.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm not going to be disappointed. The As long as the overall trajectory is in the correct direction, that's what really matters at the end of the day.
Yeah. Totally. And it's the process too that I
Yes.
love that you've totally bought into where you are following the process that is going to, no matter what, if you stick on it, get you to 240. And 240 by this Easter, next Easter, doesn't matter because there's 50 more Easters
Yeah.
that you're going to be below
That's the goal.
240 at. And so I love, setting a goal and having a destination, but then it's okay, what is the process that ensures that that destination is just a stop of the train
Yeah.
along this never-ending railroad, really, at the end of the day. For you, what have been some of the biggest wins you've seen, whether that's on the scale, energy wise, confidence wise? What are some of the things that you can kind of look back to and say, man, that was cool to see or cool to feel?
It's I've it's really been kind of in the past few weeks I've been able to look at myself in the mirror and go, "Oh, wow. I really see a clear difference now." Um Shirts have been fitting that weren't fitting well before. There's like I got to put this away until it fits better. Let me try that on again. Oh. Oh, this is actually kind of flattering now. Nice. Oh, these pants fit so much better. They're loose. Great. Things like that. Just uh, seeing that much weight come off, looking at the chart go down so consistently has been great. Yeah, just it. I've dropped 10 pounds since I started dating my girlfriend, and she's noticed like, yeah, no, you you do. You look good before, but you look better now. My goodness, just look at that. So just being able to see the little wins pay off. I mean, it's coming up to Easter, so it's Lent right now, season of sacrifice. Like, okay, how can I use these sacrifices for good? It's nice to see all the little sacrifices that I've made for, okay, no, I'm not going to snack. I'm not going to, I'm going to be try to be smart about my weight to see them pay off.
Yeah.
And just to reap the rewards,
Yeah.
has been so incredible, and just reassuring and motivating as well.
Yeah.
Just yeah,
Totally.
it's
Well,
it's
and
been
it's definitely like season of sacrifice in regards of Lent, but I always like using sacrifice and investment interchangeably because an investment pays off later, but you have to
yes,
give up the money now. And
and
so
it's
for you to
definitely an
be able to
investment.
reap those rewards, I think is just absolutely massive. And we
Yeah,
were talking before you mentioned you started dating someone, which I always find is so cool when two people going in the same direction
yeah,
work to basically compound that. What has that been like having someone who's serving as a propeller to your boat, to use a metaphor, versus someone who might be an anchor who's like, hey, babe, let's go get Taco Bell.
It's very beneficial. It's because yeah, it could be, oh yeah, let's go out and eat junk food every night. It's like we'll go to the pub together on occasion, but it's like, okay, we're both gonna be we'll get a salad and like share a drink. Okay, and now we're good. So let's be mindful about what we're doing. Hey, let's go try this nice. Let's go get some food. Let's make some food together. Okay, we're gonna make it a nice, more healthy meal. Let's
Yeah.
focus on the healthy stuff we can eat. Um, and just cheering each other on too. Like, hey, amazing way to go. Uh, her sister and I are going to do a 20-mile hike in August.
Nice.
Last big hike I did was the Camino in Spain about a decade ago. Um, so we've been starting to hike together, which is okay. Yeah, let's do this. Let's get in hiking shape together. So you have 8 hours to do 20 miles, depending on your speed, depending on your. I'd rather be done before 8 hours are up, not have them have the Sunday old search party. So
Yeah.
all these little motivators add up, and it's great.
Yeah. I've never asked this on a podcast, but I'd be interested in your take. How did you bring up, whether it was date one, date two, hey, this is something that is a priority to me? Because I think a lot of people also have the story in their head of, oh, I can't date or I can't be social because eating healthy and not drinking until I pass out is the antithesis of being social. Did you bring that up right away? Did
We
she
brought
bring
it
it up?
up
What was
pretty
that
early.
like?
Yeah, we actually met at my local pub, of all places, and we got talking about our journeys and lives together. I mean, mid-30s, she's 30, so that helps in terms of let's just cut the crap and get to real conversation. Like, yeah, no, I'm on a fitness journey. I've, dropped some pounds recently. Oh yeah, no, I have to. Great, and just be upfront about it. It's if you're trying to date and someone doesn't accept you for where you are now or the path you're on, are they worth it? Um, if she would have said, "Oh gosh, ew, look at you, you're working out all the time," and
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
boring.
yeah, it's like I'm not in the gym 24/7. It's like I have a life. I could out. I can eat healthy. I can be healthy. I can have a life. I mean, it's one does not necessarily exclude the other. And if it's would have been, oh, you're no, not worth my time. But it's because there's that. As long as there's an openness to talk and like an openness to share about yourself, like, yeah, no, this is what I'm doing. Uh, and show pride in it. I mean, if you're on this journey you are taking very necessary steps to better yourself. And you should be proud of that. That's an incredible thing to do. I see some very, very unhealthily out of shape people in my office. And it breaks my heart seeing them just and I because it was also a warning to me. That was another thing that kind of pushed me to start. If I don't change what I'm doing, I could be in that state. And I don't want that for me. And
Yeah.
as long as you're trying, even if you've lost 5 pounds in a month, 2 months, that's still 5 pounds less than you had before. That's huge.
Yeah.
In the end of the day, every bit of progress is huge. It can build. Even if you're plateauing for a bit, that's there's no shame in it. So
Yeah. And 5 pounds in a month is 60 pounds in a year. So
yeah.
anyone who's calling their results not good enough, it's like, well, keep on the path because the path is definitely worth it.
Yeah.
So that's good segue because you were just talking about, your coworkers. You're like, man, if I don't make this change, I could end up like that. And I think that's another good exercise that I like to have people go through is I call it like the dark side and the light side. If you give
Yeah.
into fear and you give into this dark side temptation, what path does that lead you down? And a lot of people don't think 5 years down the road. while also thinking, on the light side, call it
Yeah.
cliche, but it's like blow up the Death Star, become the Jedi, whatever,
Yeah.
your destiny is. That's also the opportunity if you get on this path. And so I'd be curious for you, what would be three keys to success for someone who is the heaviest they've ever been? Maybe it's a coworker, maybe it's, a friend or a version of you that you would say, hey man, focus on these three things and you're going to build a lot of momentum.
And it's funny. My best friend at work sits next to me, and he's trying to get his weight loss journey started as well. We talk about this. And the biggest thing that I've encouraged him is self-discipline. It's his thing is he says, yeah, I sometimes just start eating at night. Don't feel like I can stop myself. That was one of my things. I would eat too much late at night. Self-discipline. Say, okay, do I need this food or do I want this food? It's okay if I want it. That's there's no shame in that. But can I stop from eating if I only want it and I'm not feeling, no, if I don't eat, it'll be bad for me. So absolutely self-discipline. And it's just good for any human to develop that self-discipline, builds that great character within you. Second thing would be, I mean, just be aware of what you're eating. Uh, know what's going into the food you're eating. If it how healthy it is, how healthy it isn't, how sodium packed it is. Because that was one of the things my doctor was telling me before I started this, like, blood pressure's looking a little high, lower your sodium intake, this, that. So just being very aware, not obsessive, but just aware and make good choices. I mean, do I eat French fries sometimes? Absolutely. So not like I'm cutting out desserts and all the things that I like to eat still. It's just moderation. Moderation is a beautiful thing for me to enjoy good food and still be able to work out, drop weight, and be a generally happier person with who I am and how I am. Um, and then the third thing would just be persistence because it's so easy to give in and give up. Um, Kind of ties in with the self-discipline, just getting in a habit, stick pattern, because it's just as easy to get in the habit of doing nothing as it is to get in the habit of doing something. Almost easier.
Hmm.
It's I can sit on this couch all night long and do nothing. Easiest thing in the world to do is to do nothing. But to get up and say, no, you know what? Think I'm gonna do a workout. Think I'm gonna do some yoga tonight. Think I'm gonna, do a workout right here. Maybe I'll put the baseball game on while I'm watching or the hockey game on, do a workout while I'm watching or during intermission or whatever. There's plenty of time. It's be persistent. There is going to be time, almost always. There are those who have very difficult lives in terms of having to work a lot, not having a tremendous amount of time, but if you fight hard enough, you can make at least 10 minutes. So,
Yeah, totally. And I love what you said about the self-discipline thing too, because it's kind of one of those words where people don't like to hear it. They want to not be held accountable, but it's a truth, just like gravity, where
yeah,
and what's awesome is that there whatever kind of culture or religion you're into, like discipline is like a core tenet and it's a core
yeah,
principle. There's nowhere on the planet that says, hey, indulge and have no discipline and your life gets better,
yeah.
right? And so
Uh,
just like having that be number one is huge. And I always like to think too, someone who says I don't have discipline, I always like to think of it as a skill. And you might not
yeah,
have discipline in the exercise, but I'm guessing he shows up for work every day, right? So
yeah,
there's discipline there. And the thing that someone watching this who's like, oh, I don't really have discipline to work out. Well, what are you disciplined in? And how are you getting really clear on why you're disciplined with it, right? For work, it's, oh, I
Yeah,
don't pay bills, I lose my job, right? I'm going to make sure I do it. Coming back to what you're talking about, if I don't exercise, I'm going to end up like this.
yeah,
That will lead to discipline because you're like, I don't want the discipline action of this, so I'm going to be disciplined myself and
yeah.
discipline
I mean,
myself.
and what are you disciplined to do? It's are you disciplined to sit down and watch the baseball game? Are you
Yeah.
disciplined to sit down and watch your show, play a video game? Or are you disciplined to maybe do that and a 10-minute workout? Do your workout and then spend the rest of your night doing whatever? Or if you got kids to play with, okay, that can be a form of workout too. And then maybe afterward do a 10-minute workout or something. Just it's about priorities and it's about what you want out of life. I mean, and
Yeah.
you mentioned there's no group that doesn't have discipline. I mean, the Sith Order. Oh, it's all about me. It's whatever I want. Very hedonistic. No discipline. Look where that got them.
Hmm.
Nowhere good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you and I both like baseball. I'm like, in between innings, do some push-ups. I feel
Yeah.
like I get enough steps just watching guys try and not strike out and pacing back and forth with the bases loaded. So it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
be active while you're enjoying these things that you enjoy doing too.
Yeah. I'll sometimes watch Red Wing games like, okay, intermission, about 20-minute intermission, 10-minute workout. Here we go.
Yeah, dude,
Just
that's a great idea.
there's sports. If you're watching sports, they got great breaks built in. Just crank something out. Uh, burn off those calories if you've been snacking while watching or whatever. But
Yeah,
whatever it is, it's nice how these things have breaks built in.
yeah, absolutely. What's next for you? I'm curious. You mentioned the big hike coming up.
Yeah.
And obviously the 240 by Easter, but what is your new vision? I always find that as people get some energy back and they get some clarity and they get some momentum, they're no longer moving away from the pain of being as heavy as they've been. They're now moving towards something. What are you moving towards? What's your vision for the future?
Definitely 220. That is my next goal to hit once I hit 240. And from there, I'm not sure yet. It'd be interesting to see. I might start focusing more on building muscle at that point as opposed to more focus on dropping weight. Um, and that's something I'll be discussing with you just as I go on and kind of as we look at things. But the fact that I have this freedom to look at it and not just go, oh gosh, wow, I haven't exercised in like 5 years. I haven't can't remember the last time I went running. Super unathletic now. Football days are long behind me. I I'm certainly not to where I want to be yet, but I am light years from where I was, and I'm so much happy. I did never think 250 was at one point the heaviest I'd ever been. And I didn't expect I'd be so happy to see it on the scale again, like, oh, hello, old friend.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of like a new lease on life in a way. Just, um, my grandmother turned 90 recently, and you hear like 35 is basically middle age in America for men. I don't want that. I want to be healthy, make myself as healthy as I can, and live as long as I can, and just enjoy life.
Yeah.
Stay active is the big thing. Do more hikes, just go canoeing some this summer, nice upper body workout there. Just really make the most of being able to be active and not feeling like I want to die after climbing a few flights of stairs or whatever. Just really make the most of the opportunity I have now that
Yeah.
dropping pounds has given me. Um, and just keep chasing health, chasing how healthy I can be and not letting up. It's, yeah, at some point I'm going to stop losing weight because I'll be at about a healthy weight, might put some pounds on in muscle instead, and that's okay. But I never want to say, okay, no, I'm good enough where I am because I know how quickly I could put on 5, 10, 20 pounds just by, I can eat McDonald's this week. So
Yeah.
just very much continuing to be aware and intentional. I need to continue to be very intentional about what I'm doing. And I know intentionality can sometimes be a scary word, but for me, it's been very freeing because I'm choosing to do this, which makes it less of a chore. But okay. And especially with this community, my goodness. Like I brought my trooper, one of my buddies works at a gun range. I brought my trooper helmet there for him to try on, and oh, let me try putting some rounds on range with this. Oh my gosh, I see why stormtroopers are such terrible shots. Like it's hard to see out of this. So dark.
That's funny. You mentioned a couple things I want to finish on, but I don't want to
Yeah,
skip over. Is one, not just getting to a certain point and then stopping. I was
yeah,
reading an excerpt from I think the book was called like The Blind Watchmaker or something, and it just talked about how nature is constantly trying to bring things back into not balance, but you're a warm-blooded individual and nature around you is cold. And as soon as you die, you get pulled back into that temperature and you cease to exist and have autonomy. And so
yeah,
you said the idea of being able to take ownership and be able to continue to push, because if you're not actively working against what life is pulling you towards, you do start to slide back into that 250 and that 280. So I love that that's your mindset, not, oh, I'm just going to park the bus once I get to 220, right?
yeah.
And it doesn't
I tried
mean,
that before, and that's what got me to 250 the first time, and I didn't heed the warning signs.
yeah.
I Oh no, all right, I'll be fine. I'll eat less fast food. I did not eat less fast food. In fact, I ate more. So, once you're in that bad habit, once you park the bus and you start the bad habit again, it's like the dark is very seductive. It is sneaky easy, scary easy to slip back into bad habits, and just not worth it.
Yeah.
And just having the autonomy, saying, I'm taking control. This is my decision. I want this for I want to be happy with how I look. I want to be happy with what I see on the scale. I don't want to worry about pre-diabetes. I don't want to worry about this, that, or the other thing. I don't want to be on a CPAP the rest of my life. Whatever it is. I don't want my knees to creak as badly when I stand up. Whatever it is, just having the autonomy, saying, no, this is my life. This is the only body I get. I need to take control. I need to say, I need help, lean on the help that's given, and use that help to help take control.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say I can take control. I'm going to be intentional about this. It's another to ignore help when it's offered and when it's available. And I was already starting to lose a little bit of weight when I signed on, but I was down 6 pounds from the 280, but I can safely say I would not have made the progress I did in the time I have without the system. It has definitely been very beneficial to me and it has allowed me to really have that ownership over what I'm doing because I have the tools and the support to rely on. It's and I think that's something that's often overlooked when we talk about taking ownership. It doesn't mean going it alone. It means having the self-awareness to say, "Hey, Paul, I need help. What kind of workouts for this and that? Hey, Paul, what can I do about this or that? Meal training or for meals and stuff. What can I do for this or that?" And relying on the resources or looking in the group chat, seeing people cheer you on, was leaning on the community. They're there for a reason. We're all here for a reason. Because we've realized we can't do this alone. And yeah,
Yeah. Dude, well said. And I just got to say, I wish people could see how much you've changed because you have so much more energy and happiness. and you're like inspirational, just like listening to you talk. And I remember we talked in November, you still looked good. You still, had like a strength to your voice, but it's crazy how much has changed. And I love doing these calls because I'll see people after a few months or a few weeks, and I call it the Tarkin. They start to get that crisp jawline, and you got much better facial hair than I will ever have. But yeah, like I can already see like that Governor Tarkin coming in, and it's like a new dude in front of me, which is crazy to see.
Thank you. I am so much happier with how I feel and look. Just, it's, I almost didn't let myself imagine what this would look like, but it's better than anything I could have imagined. Just, and also there's a sense of relief of, okay, this is working. Um, it's what you know it's going to work, but you're impatient at the same time. Like, what? I want to, spend 3 weeks working out and be this ripped, chiseled clone trooper. And yes, it takes time, it takes effort, it's a gradual change, but when you start seeing it, um, it just once it starts clicking, once you start really seeing those physical changes, especially, it's like, okay, yeah, this
Yeah.
is it. You knew it's paying off. You already knew it's paying off, but then it's like, yeah, oh yeah, this is great.
Yep,
I
that's
love
awesome.
this.
Dude, I'm so pumped for you, man, just for what the future holds and just the work you've put in. I really appreciate the time, the effort, the commitment, and this story. I think this is going to inspire a ton of people because you're speaking from the heart, and that's what connects with people. So thank you for the time and
Of
excited to
course.
see what the future holds for you, man.